I was afraid this rain was going to give me bad audio, but joy of joys, 222's backed up. So we got good audio. No rain hitting us. And I don't really mind this that much. I'm on the clock. I'm billing these hours. Go as slow as you want, traffic. So this is regular car review, Car Stories. And this is a bit of a teaser because I'm driving the car that you gave us the money to afford. This is a 2007 Honda Fit Sport with 105,000 miles on it. I put about 5,000 miles on it since I bought it. We did a tad bit of driving to airports, drove up to State College. Why a Honda Fit? A Honda Fit starts with this story. Way before regular car reviews, when the Roman and I were still doing our college radio show at Kutztown University, we had this one night where we were desperate to just get behind the wheel of something, because no one else in the radio station was all that interested in cars, doing stuff after hours that had nothing to do with just getting content for stuff to talk about. Because usually, and I'm going to badmouth college radio for a little while, college radio is exactly the way Homestar Runner described it. It's dead air, dead air. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to have a talk radio show where I'm just going to get on and talk. And, okay, you have to do some pre-programming here. And pre-programming is just a fancy word for figuring out what you're going to talk about and writing things down. Maybe make an outline that you've been doing forever in school. And, that's the way it goes. Not sure if semi-truck's going to let me in, but I got acceleration, so in I go. So one night, Roman and I decided we're going to go to car dealerships and do that move where you pretend like you're going to buy a car and you pretend you have a job that pays more than you really have, and you dress up in nice clothes, not suits and ties, but you're tucking in your shirt, buttoning up a polo shirt, putting on a watch, and not talking expensive talk like, yes, I'm going to buy this Toyota Corolla, but just simply mention, stock portfolios or, come on in. Speaking of Corollas, Corolla S. I don't know if that's a real Corolla S. Because some people fake Corolla S's. Like you get a regular Corolla and put the S badge on it. So anyway, the Roman and I were going around the dealerships and fake like we were buying cars. We were just going to go with a notebook like we always would and just write about what we were going to do. Now, I will brag, I'm a better bullshitter than the Roman is. So, we're shopping for cars, and I've heard a lot about this, and we went to a Honda dealership, and I heard about the Fit, never drove one, and this was back in 2010, I think, when we did this. 2010 or 2011. So the second generation Fit was already in play, but the one we drove was a used one, as most manual transmissions are. That's the thing we found out about going to dealerships. They'll have one, maybe two manual transmission cars of the one you want, if that. So we drove a first generation Honda Fit, and wow, this is a lot tighter than the Toyota Echo that I was driving for 10 years, and I liked it. I realized it was a little bit heavier, but the thought of that stuck in my mind. And of course, and I after the test drive with the Roman in the back seat and the saleswoman right here, we had a great time talking to her, and she was really nice. And you have that little staple in the back of your head that says, "Oh, I'm just wasting this woman's time." But we wasted her time, and I totally made like I was going to buy the car, and I was up front that I was still in graduate school, but I had money saved up, and I told her, and maybe this level of honesty sold my honesty with her, in that I said, "Oh, you don't want the Toyota Echo. This thing is, I'm just going to drive this thing into the ground, or I'm going to keep it, or this or that." And we walked out of there with the brochures and everything, knowing full well that we were going to do nothing. We were just trying to get behind the wheel of something that wasn't the Toyota Echo day after day after day. So because I drove a Honda Fit, it's what made me seek out one to buy. This car I bought in New Jersey somewhere, and I talked a little bit about this on, I forget, either the Smoking Tire or the Hooniverse podcast, that when we got this car, or I got this car rather, there was an inch of water back underneath where the spare tire goes. That sort of wheel well for the spare tire, and just inch of water back there. So there are 3 full tubes of silicone smeared all over all the joints, all the seams. We even sealed up the quarter windows, like way back there, the ones that don't roll up or roll down. And we sealed up the taillights too, and it doesn't leak anymore. So that was like a $20 solution, a very messy $20 solution, and we'll show you zoomed in nice pictures of all the ugly silicone. I started doing it. Come on in. Commit, Buick. Come on, do it. What are you waiting for? Merge. I'm pretending that I'm angry while I'm driving. I'm a very calm driver. I suppose I don't need this anymore. I know where I'm going. This Garmin Nuvi, see, that guy's committing. Ford Ranger, I think. Maybe an S10. I'm learning about this Garmin Nuvi that we bought, again with your money, that thing likes to send you through downtown. Granted, 22 and 78 were all backed up going into Allentown, but I ended up going to Bethlehem, and this thing wanted me to drive straight through Bethlehem instead of staying on 22 where it turned. So I got to remember to always check the route to make sure it's giving me the stay on the highway route, which is the white guy version of avoid the ghetto. No, really, I was like on Union Boulevard forever with this thing, going through every single stoplight, as opposed to just crawling on the highway, although it's better now. So the Fit is almost done. There's Dynamat in the doors. We made Dynamat the roof. I have 1.5 sheets left. I used half a sheet of Dynamat to Dynamat my computer. I Dynamated the inside of the case and the doors and everything, and it quieted it down a bit. It doesn't vibrate so much. Now my computer is heavier. But I Dynamated the outside of the door because there's 2 layers of steel in these doors. There's the outer one, and then there's the inner one because, you know, the motor and everything for the windows are braced on both sides. So I Dynamated the outside, Dynamated the inside, and I even Dynamated the plastic door trim in like certain spaces where it's wide, especially down here by the speakers. Like if I knock down here, it sounds like wood. So my speakers sound amazing. So that's a good bit of advice. Like, what's the first thing I should do if I want to get a better stereo in my car? Start with Dynamat. Like, you'd be surprised how good stock speakers can sound when they're vibrating the air and not vibrating the car. Yeah, Nissan Maxima sagging in the back. I think if I had a dream road trip car, it'd be a Ford Falcon. 1960 to 1963, or 61 to 63. When did the Ford Falcon come out? I think it was either 60 or 61. But like the very first generation one, that's the one I would like. I would like a Ford Falcon, a 4-door, not a 2, and I would like the automatic, not the manual. I would like that on the tree automatic. Because if I had a second car, if I had my choice, it would be that. So road trip, right. It is May 21st, so we've got a little over 2 weeks to get ready for the road trip. I've started mapping out the towns we're going to go to, drawing a subway style map of the towns we're going to go to, and then coming down from each town like I'm drawing it, and then the people I'm going to meet in each town. As of this point, we're not doing any regular car meets. because I don't know how I should feel about having a lot of people coming to meet me. I don't know how I should feel about that. I know some people would like us to have a meet, and I suppose it would be as simple as, let's meet at such and such place. But in watching Mighty Car Mods, when they had their meet in Los Angeles, they had to change venues because the police shut them down because, some butthole decided to do a burnout. And I mean, we've been really fortunate in that every single person we've done, every single person we've done, every single car we've reviewed, the owner has been sane. But what happens if we meet someone who's insane, who doesn't have good impulse control? What then? Well, we'd simply have to leave. We'd have to stick to our word that if someone does a burnout while we're trying to do a review, in fact, or gather footage from a review, if someone came up and did a burnout, well, we're leaving. We're just going. Cop up ahead with a box truck. It is polite to not blast him with air, so you get in the other lane. So we're not going to do car meets. Maybe when we get to Boulder and we can relax and we've done everything. Maybe in Boulder, maybe. But not places like Chicago. It would go against the way we've been filming episodes for regular car reviews. We get in and we get out and no one knows we were there. So low key, it doesn't even look like we're filming anything. Which is why I'm hesitant to buy more expensive camera gear. Because right now, when you film with an SLR, it does not look like you're filming anything. It just looks like you're taking pictures. But if you have a video camera, a nice one, then it looks like you're up to something. The only non-discrete thing we do is when we use our homemade Steadicam, that looks like something out of the ordinary. Usually filming a car takes about an hour. And that's when I hear people like, oh, it takes, the smoking tire usually a day to film an episode. Us, it takes an hour. But it's a very frantic hour. And we've found that 4 cars is our limit. 4 cars, to film 4 episodes of regular cars in one day runs us ragged, and it's not a lot of fun, and I'm not a lot of fun doing that because I don't really have time to talk to you, the volunteer, about your car. It's strictly business. I don't have time to think of jokes. And we're just in, and we're out, and that is what your experience with the Roman and I would be. It would be me just looking through a camera, Roman writing stuff down, and then maybe we have time to sit in the liftgate of the fit and just write some more stuff down, get information from you, and great, moving on to the next car. Whereas 3 would be okay, 2 is ideal, and 1's just screwing around. 2 is usually the best. Do 2 cars, because usually if you have 2 cars, you have an extra set of hands to help you. So that's why I don't want to do meets, or that's another reason why I don't want to do meets, because if everybody coming to the meet would be hoping that we would choose their car, but we won't be able to. If we had a gathering, I would have to be completely clear and say, look, I only have time to film 2 cars, and say 10 people come. Well, I have to choose 2. And odds are it would be the junky ones. It wouldn't be the fast ones. So say someone comes up with a really nice S13, and I say, oh, that's great, but I'm going with this Chrysler or Dodge Diplomat right there, or Chrysler Cordoba. or just a simple Chevy Cavalier. As of this recording, as of May 21st, still haven't done a Cavalier. The Honda Fit is put together with a lot of snaps. These plastic bits and everything snap together, and to get the doors off of this car, there's one screw in here, and then this door handle, after you've popped the little lever off inside, slides either this way or this way. It slides and then comes out. And then you have to get a screwdriver here and pry the bottom part of the armrest and handle off. And then there are 3 more screws, 2 or 3 more screws in there. Those come out. And then you unhook the connectors and lift the whole door out. With the front doors, the little tweeter speakers right here have their own connector. You pull them out, but the main speakers down here on the bottom are connected to the door, but they're not screwed into the door. They have their own special clip, sort of like a caddy that they sit in, which, fair play to Honda, they did something nice. They already isolated the speakers for you. Now, I couldn't figure out how to get the speakers off. I was afraid if I got a flathead screwdriver and just started, or slotted, which I think is the correct term for a flathead screwdriver, is a slotted screwdriver. If I were to try to pop them out, I was afraid of breaking things. And that's my pet peeve about modern cars, is that most of them have a secret handshake with all of these plastic bits. You don't know how to pop them off without breaking them. I still like the idea that I can listen to my music. I've never had a car with an auxiliary jack before, and that's fun. And the auxiliary jack is way down here by the cigarette lighter, nowhere near the head unit. With the second generation Honda Fit, and we'll talk about, and thank you, Guy, who let us review your 2010 Honda Fit, because now we have a compare and contrast video. So when we review this car, we're also going to be reviewing the second generation Fit and talking about the differences. One difference is the aux jack is up here with the second generation, and they get cup holders here, which is nice because you can put a cup right here and aim the vent right at it. So on a hot day, if you're blowing you blow air-conditioned air right on your drink right there and it'd stay cool. And the opposite in the wintertime. Kutztown's the next exit. It'd be so much fun just to delay going back to work and just say hi to a few of my old classmates who are still in school in Kutztown. But I'm a good employee, so I'll head back to the headquarters and go back to work since I'm still on the clock. We are sticking to Route 80 all the way out and all the way back with our road trip. We're not dipping down and going the southern route back to Pennsylvania. And the reason we're doing that is because I don't know if 2 weeks is enough time to do that. Since it's my very first road trip that I've organized all myself, I'm going to stick to a very conservative route. In future road trips we can be more adventurous, but we're just sticking to Route 80. Okay, confirmed towns we are stopping in. This is something, we'll make it an official video about the road trip, hopefully a week before. But confirmed towns are going to be Pittsburgh, Toledo, Ohio, Chicago, Denver, and of course Boulder. We're going to add another one in there, maybe South Bend, Indiana, and somewhere in Nebraska, maybe. Oh, I'd also like to thank people who offered us crash space. This GoPro is hurting my head, so I suppose this is a good place as any to call it a podcast.